After playing so many rail-likes as if I was a crackhead desperately looking for my next high, and sometimes even succeeding to my surprise, I feel it only natural that I quickly give out my thoughts on the original experience, and honestly, I just find it okay. It's not bad, obviously, however, there are so many things I've experienced in this game that make me consider it a flawed product. Getting literal free money every night you spend in a fort because of how likely it is you'll get werewolves at night, a liquid system that has no real reason being in this game, to this day I still wonder what the hell it's supposed to do, and the worst offender of them all, an unfair final battle that can only be beaten in one very specific way, that will catch you off guard if you're a new player, and honestly makes me hate the experience, especially for wasting hours of my time just to get me killed immediately. That's why I give it a 7 out of 10. However, I would have easily given it a 6 if it wasn't for the fact that the devs are still working hard on it, adding new factions, buildings, and enemies. Plus, I understand how difficult it can be to program a game in the first place. God knows I'm struggling with it, so I hope the devs don't lose heart. Just remove the final battle or don't make it so bullshit and we'll be swell! If you can't afford to play Sea of Thieves or just don't want your day ruined by the typical tryhard, you can always pop into this game for a quite interesting experience. The very first thing I noticed was the fact the sack system, or in this case the crate system, is laid out in an entirely different manner than the norm. In this game, you can carry and drop crates. Each crate can hold up to 5 items each, and you can change the crate you're carrying whenever you want. It's perfect because it saves up a lot of time that you'd be spending taking every single item out and welding it to the ship before moving on, which is why I recommend having a ton of crates available. Also, something that is huge, for me at least, is the fact that instead of going on invisible rails, you are allowed to go wherever you want. It's an open world! I'm honestly surprised it took me this long to find a game that actually realizes that not being in a train allows you to go wherever you want. Of course, I won't go around telling people how they should make their games, but if I have a say in the matter, I'll say learn from this one here. This one gets a well-deserved 8.5. Alchemy systems, recruitment, tons of classes, traits, bounties, parrying, and a lot more mechanics I haven't been able to discover yet are what comprises Dead Tales, a game that is as fun as playing Minecraft with a bunch of fantasy mods. That's a good thing, by the way, Minecraft rules. It's a perfectly serviceable experience as well. You actually get to choose from 3 whole classes at the very beginning, with their own skills and difficulty ratings and preferred flavor of iced tea. Now obviously, nothing is stopping you from brute forcing your way through with the warrior class, and that might be a good or a bad thing depending on how many gallons of glue you consume. I have a spoonful after every meal. That being said, of all the medieval or fantasy rail-likes I've played, this has got to be the one that takes the top spot in my personal list. So, if all you want is dead rails in a fantasy setting, this is the one game you should play. It's so good in fact that I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's great and can only get even better from here. Deadly Rafts. And back with round 2 of rail-like set in the ocean, we have Deadly Rafts, the completely polar opposite of Cursed Sail. This game is as plain as its ocean, and I'm sorry to the people of I Am Games, because I know it can't be that easy to develop a game while your team is constantly screaming at each other. It's not just that it's plain, however, since in this game you're back to being on invisible rails, you need to swim your way to the islands that you come across, and the problem with that is that all of the islands are too damn far away. You have to spend at most half a minute just to get to the shore. And it doesn't help that the islands are very much uninspired and don't even give you that much stuff, but you know what? I can let that slide. What I can't let slide, however, is the fact there is no one standing guard at the checkpoints. You know, those forts that keep you safe while you wait for the night to pass so you're not constantly harassed by elite enemies while you try to heal and sell your loot. Yeah, you may as well remove the walls for all the good they'll do to you. It's like they didn't even try and just made a rail-like for the sake of doing it, not putting any thought or effort into what the average run would play and feel like. Get your shit together, I Am Games! This experience has existed for 6 months and you still haven't figured out how to do something literally every single other game of this genre has done! This game genuinely angers me and is getting a 3 out of 10. See me after class. Dark Journey. The great twist about Dark Journey is that all food has 2 uses. You can use it as fuel, or you can use it as healing items, which means there is a speck of strategy when it comes to playing this game. When you find a food item, you need to consider your options carefully and decide if you want to use the food as fuel now, or save it for later in case you need to heal. This is also another game where you can recruit soldiers to fight for you, and I can't deny I get giddy at the idea of having a bunch of musketeers welded to my cart, turn it into a sort of improvised fortress on wheels. Also, you can pretty much straight up kill all the friendly NPCs in a settlement, and in fact they'll fight back against you. So if the developers were to add a karma system like in Mafia Roads, and they made it so that once everyone was dead in a settlement, you could take all of their stuff, I feel like it would add a bit of replayability to the game. Not to mention, it would just be fun to play as the bad guy for once. Dead Planets has a very special spot in my heart. It was one of the very first few rail-likes I tried out and was taken aback by its incredible ambience, its animations, and above all, just how freaking scary and unnerving the enemies can get. Not to mention the special boss fight you can get if you happen to be a completionist and get all the medallions from the mini-bosses. I'm obviously going to give this one a pretty high score. However, said score doesn't come from it being original or really that different from your typical Rails game. The reason why I like this game so much is because, simply put, it's terrifying and dreadful in the best way possible. This is not a game that's made for weak-hearted people. You will be jump-scared by a deadly creature as you drive surrounded by the natural darkness of space. You will come across creatures that can only be described as out of a sci-fi horror movie. And you will experience true dread every time there is a solar storm, leaving you unable to know how much fuel you have while your turrets and shields become unusable. Also, it's got them lores. Well, thank you for watching. Honestly, I feel like I've done quite enough for a while now. At first I was having fun doing these sorts of videos, but I'm starting to feel a bit burnt out. So maybe I'll take a break from doing these quick review things, and maybe even Roblox in general. I want to focus on my personal projects, and you know, I have a bunch of creativity that I need to release into the world. So don't worry if I don't upload for a while. I mean, not that you'll care, because who the hell watches my videos anyway, right? I mean, why am I even telling you this? I could be saying anything and no one would care. Okay, I'll stop. Have a good night.